So, have you ever just stopped and thought about it? What really makes you, well, you? Today, we're going to dive deep into the fascinating science of what makes every single one of us completely and totally unique. I mean, it's a question we bump into all the time, right? You and a friend watch the exact same movie. You think it's a masterpiece, and they think it's the worst thing they've ever seen. How does that happen? Well, the answer isn't some simple one liner. It's all about understanding the super complex layers that make up each of us as individuals. To help us get our heads around all of this, we're going to use this really cool tool called the Individual Differences Framework. The best way to think of it is like a roadmap. It shows us how all our internal stuff, our personality, what we value, connects with the world out there, and crucially, how we make sense of it all. All right, so here's the game plan for our journey today. We're going to start with the blueprint of you, then check out the world that shapes you, and finally, look at the amazing way we perceive it all. Let's get into it. Okay, let's jump right in. If we really want to understand ourselves, we've got to start at the very beginning, with the core components of our identity, the actual blueprint of what makes you, you. First up, personality. And look, this is way more than just whether you're an introvert or an extrovert. Think of it like your own personal, psychological signature. It's that stable, consistent core of you that doesn't really change much over time or in different situations. It's what makes you, you, and not someone else. Okay, now this is a distinction that trips a lot of people up. We throw around the words ability and skill like they're the same thing, but they're totally not. An ability is something you're kind of born with, that natural talent, like having a great ear for music. But a skill? That's what you build on top of it. That's the hard work, the practice, all those hours you spend actually learning to play the guitar. All right, next on our blueprint are values. And the best way to think about these is as your internal compass. Seriously, they're these super deep-seated beliefs about what you think is important in life. They're the things that guide pretty much all of your big decisions and your judgments about what's right and what's wrong. But here's the thing. That internal compass doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It's not built in a vacuum. It gets shaped and molded by so many powerful forces, right? The culture you grow up in, your unique personality, your gender, your ethnicity, heck, even the generation you're a part of. All of this stuff helps point that compass in a certain direction. So what does this all mean? Well, this is where it gets really fascinating, because all those different values can lead to completely different ways of looking at the world. You've got the relativist view, which says, hey, right and wrong depends on the situation or the culture. Then you have the universalist view, which says, nope, some things, like honesty, should be the standard for everyone, everywhere. Two totally different ethical lenses. Okay, so we've got our internal blueprint down. But of course, we're not built in a bubble, right? We're constantly being shaped by the world around us. And that brings us to that classic, age-old debate, nature versus nature. I love thinking about it like this. It's kind of like a recipe. Our heredity, our genes, that's the list of ingredients. But our environment, that's the kitchen. It's the temperature of the oven, the way you mix everything, it's the culture we're in, how our parents influenced us, even the physical places we live. All of that stuff combines with our genetic ingredients to cook up the unique person that is you. Okay, so we have our inner world and we have the outer world. But what's the bridge between them? How do they actually connect? Well, they meet through this incredibly powerful, super personal thing called the lens of perception. And this cartoon just nails the whole idea perfectly. Look at this. One person says something simple, right? An idea, a flower. But look at how many different ways the audience hears it. This is so key. There isn't one single objective reality out there that we all plug into. Nope, each of us is actively creating our own through our own unique interpretation. This whole process isn't just random chaos. Our brain actually follows a pretty neat three-step process. So first, there's attention. We notice some things and totally ignore others. Then comes organization. Our brain is like a super fast sorting machine, putting all that info into patterns it recognizes. And finally, boom, perception. That's when we form our own interpretation of what just happened. Okay, so if we're all using this same basic process, why do we all end up seeing things so differently? And maybe more importantly, how do we sometimes get it so wrong? Well, a huge part of the answer is mental shortcuts. Our brains are lazy in a smart way. They're always looking for the quickest path to make sense of a really complex world. But, and this is a big but, sometimes those shortcuts lead us down the wrong path. You know how it is, right? The classic first impression error. You meet someone, they're quiet for 5 minutes, and your brain just slaps a shy label on them. That's a shortcut, and it can totally blind you to who they really are. So, if there's one big idea to walk away with today, it's this. We are not just passive viewers watching a movie of the world go by. Not at all. With our unique personality, our values, our mental shortcuts, we are the directors, the editors, the creators of our own reality, every single second of every day. So, I'm going to leave you with a question to chew on. Knowing all of this now, knowing about this incredible, complex machinery inside all of us, what's just one small thing you could do, maybe even today, to try and peek through someone else's lens, to try and understand their world just a little bit better?